Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. Questions about Margot? Yes, sir.
What do you do if someone on the board takes off, wants to quit, but doesn't want to give the shares back?
You have somebody visit him in the, late Friday evening.
Now we're talking, all right.
Yeah.
So let's elaborate
No. Well, if he leaves before you issued him, there's no problem. But if he leaves after you've issued him and you've done a deal, it's worth something. But I mean, in 28 years, we've only had 3 problems with getting the shares back. And 2 of them were with Josh, and 1 was a long, long time ago. And the most Josh paid for his shares, bought some guy 35 cents on the dollar. And the company, let's say he did it when the company was worth $10 million. The guy that had, 5%, it's worth something. But almost none of these guys will fight in court. Because remember, their pensions, they can barely live on. So they're not going to take money out of their their survival money, so to speak, to fight you. Occasionally you'll find a guy from many, many years ago had money. He says, "Fuck you," and it was a big fight. The kid, the mentee won, but I mean, he must have spent at least $500,000 fighting. But at that time, and you drag it out in court, the company's worth you got $25 million in revenue, and you got money to fight. The key is, and that's not going to happen, the key is that you push out the fight as long as you can. Now, I do just the opposite. I scorch the earth. I sue them, their mother, their cousins, their dogs, their goldfish. I sue them in every state. I mean, I blitz them. I blitzkrieg them and beat them into submission right away because I don't want to fuck around with it. So I may spend $400,000 or $500,000 up right in front and know I'm going to win. And whereas if I let it over 5 years, I pay maybe $150,000. But I also have a litigation. I wrote a book. It's online for free. Litigation is as a business tool. The 26 or 28 rules of litigation. They use it in law school. That's how good it is. And scorch the earth, just like the big boys do. They paper you to death. You can't hardly win a lawsuit against IBM, you're just wasting your time. Unless you've got money to fight, then you're not. That's why normally the settlement when Dell fights somebody over patent infringement or whatever. But normally they settle. And I used to be, I don't keep track of it anymore. I used to be 217 out of 219 lawsuits, won 217. It's a lot more. I stopped keeping track a number of years ago. So her English is what? She also got tired of people misunderstanding her in Florida, her English. And in obviously, well, not so obviously, Switzerland, they understand. And she got rid of one of her 2 businesses. She sold it off. And she has some assistants running the other business. And she's part of the Monte Carlo. She's like Amber and John. She's part of the Monte Carlo set, And she got a new car. I put this on social media. I forget what. Some piece of, it's not a piece of shit, but some car that you kids might like. It's a convertible. What is it? Yeah, it is a piece of shit. I mean, and she's, she thinks that it's easy. It is easy. I say that like I'm looking for validation. It is easy. Yeah.
Getting back to that question, if they're taking off, they're going to know you don't have money either, and they're like, okay, bring it on.
That's exactly right.
Back to shares.
Okay, well then you got to go to the knee resolution. And I'm not suggesting this in any way, shape, manner, or form, YouTube. We have had things resolved that way. I would be a disingenuous old lying bastard if I told you. Occasionally, the resolution is, the guy falls down a flight of stairs. I've heard tell. I don't know for sure. But it's no different in life. I mean, sometimes, things get out of hand. Oh, she's a terrific boxer. And what I didn't know when we boxed, we have 3 more questions, one of which is, you're martial arts trained, and I don't care what kind of martial arts. And most people don't consider boxing martial arts. So she said no. And then the other 2 questions, I forget what they were. And her and another gal, black gal, the one I call Black Beauty, both are boxers. And there were only 2 girls, and we normally put the girls against the girls. Not always. And God damn, it was great. And it's the only time, normally during the YouTube comments, they say, get that bum, he can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. You should put him against a 7-year-old girl. All kind of nasty things, right? And, but damn, they could box. They could box. But I didn't know they boxed. I didn't know Anelli was a boxer either. So then we switched just before Corona, when the last time we had the boxing, we switched that martial arts or boxing trained. And so then a lot of the guys came clean. But for the most part, it was a shit show. But it's done for you kids, a lot of kids, never got screamed at, never got slapped, never got hit in a schoolyard, blah, 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 blah. I might have mentioned that one of the Hall of Famers, $200 or $300 million, his dying wishes, he wants to be in a ballroom brawl. Bikers and chairs and chains and shit. And I've done that. And he makes this guy back there look big. That guy's big compared to this kid. And I said, Bill, believe me, you can die without having to do that, because you'll die there. Because he thinks, I said this, I'm sure, he thinks when they hit you with a bar stool that it collapses like a balsa room bar stool in a movie. But anyway, to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't done that, thank God. But this example is foreigner in the U.S., and everybody tells you can't do it in the U.S. if you're foreign. That's horseshit. That's utter horseshit. But she did switch back to not her main country, but a country that she could speak. And she did admit it is easier in your native language if you're speaking your native language. And the thing that she said, funny enough, the templates worked. I slapped a smart bitch. Funny enough, anyway. Because that's how, she talks down to everybody, including me. So, yes, sir.
When she was talking to the accounting firm, she said, listen, don't bring me the B squad. I don't want to talk to the junior partners. I only want the
correct.
senior
That's what you do too. Your relationship with the accounting firms and the law firm is one person thick, man or woman, the engagement partner. I said this, I think a day or so ago. They can make shit happen for you. And so you don't want junior people. Now, they've never, that I know of, ever put an intern on any of our guys. But she said no junior partners, no juniors and no interns. And you can ask legitimately, and it's part of the templates, who is going to staff my deal? And deal's going down. There'll be one engagement partner, there'll probably be 2 junior partners, and then 1 or 2 senior managers. And in accounting firms and the law firms especially are big billing items now. I told you about the phone call. 1 senior partner, $5,000 an hour. 2 middle partners, $2,000 an hour each. It can get expensive. But it's delayed fees. If the deal craters, you're not paying them until the second deal. Some of the kids recently are getting delayed fees on every deal because they're hungry for business. Meaning, normally the delayed fee is up to 3 deals. And then if you crater the 3rd deal, adios. Now you can delay, you can do 3 deals well, and then crater a deal and you don't want to pay for it until the next deal. Because they're hungry. They're just a commodity. They're nothing more. Like buying a loaf of bread. They don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And for the average Joe, it's unheard of to pay somebody $5,000 an hour for the average Joe. And for the average Joe, it's unheard of that you don't have to pay if it goes in the shitter. But that's where we are. But this model's been around, as I told you, since the early 80s when I fucked up and I didn't know about delayed fees. It's been around, not forever, but a long, long time. And remember, they have business budgets, business development budgets. And as Simon said, not Simon the Nazi, but Simon the Bell, he said, and I know it, but I forget to say it sometimes, he had the business, it's not their marketing budget, he had the big law firm, the number 2 law firm in the world, put some of their business development budget in to close the deal. Yeah, that's powerful. They don't do that very often. But he's swinging for the fences now. And like he said, I mean, they tell you 1,000 times you can't do it, and then when you do it, they're all over you like a cheap suit. And he's a really vindictive guy, and he slaps the shit out of him. I mean, he is, I've been, he doesn't try to humiliate him, but he tries to humiliate him. And they just sit there and hit me again. It's unbelievable. I would have never made a partner punch him right now. I'll break his neck like a pencil. I'm not going to take that shit. I'm not telling you to do that. In no way, manner, or shape should you do that. But I'm just telling you, you can press a lot harder than you think. Maybe not as hard as I'm accused of doing back in the 80s, pulling people across conference tables and stuff. But you can press them. And especially if they have the taste of blood, meaning you've done some deals, and they see just big dollar signs or pound signs or euro signs over your head, you can push them hard. And when you really push them is, they say, we're coming up to Christmas. Everybody in this room can get a deal, at least one deal done by Christmas. Absolute. And the accountants and lawyers take time off during Christmas. Not on this deal, asshole. Not on this deal. And and if it's some little chicken shit, £800,000, no, they're not going to miss their ski trip to Aspen because of that. But I know a lot of the big guys that have done a lot of deals, like these guys and gals. We're celebrating Christmas in January, like Mr. Peña does, and you can push them, and and they'll do it. They'll do it, or they'll lose the engagement. But see, you don't want to work over Christmas. I know guys, seniors in big firms. Dan, it's not us, it's them. Like you said, they're cunts. They can't tell their wife they're not going to be home for Christmas. And that's the truth. That's the truth, even more so now than it used to be. Any other questions about Margot? Yes, sir.
Just to make sure I understood. So she was a billionaire with 2 businesses.
She wasn't a billionaire.
Oh.
No. She was a millionaire.
A
with
millionaire.
2 businesses, yeah.
And she went to Florida, did QLA, sold.
From Malta.
From Malta, went to Florida, did QLA, then went back to Switzerland.
Back to Switzerland because she was convinced that I was right to begin with. It's easier in your own foreign language. She did it not to spite me, but to prove a point, and she did. I mean, now she's a big muckety-muck in Switzerland. Now, I assume her French is perfect, but that may not be the case. But I spoke a little, je parle français un petit peu, but her French was plenty good enough to talk to me, but I'm sure it's perfect. And her English, you heard what it was like. I mean, you can get by. It's better than our Romanian warrior here. But you can get it done with his poor English as he speaks. It's good enough. As grumbly English as our 2 Asian friends, it's good enough. So I don't misunderstand me by thinking I'm making fun because you can't do it because your English isn't good. That's bullshit. We have a guy named Yanaki from Ethiopia. Ethiopia speaks French, right? Yeah, Ethiopia, who came to the UK not speaking English, and is rolling up healthcare in Manchester. And I got a post on the social media. The big black guy sitting at a table, he's about 3 times bigger than all the white people sitting around the table. That's Yanaki Yaki. He says, good morning, goodbye. That's the extent of his English. I think he intimidates them because he's so fucking big that they do the deal because they're afraid of him. I know you watch. I know that's not you, but anyway. It's a better story. And since you're not here to defend yourself, I can say whatever the fuck I want. Anything else about Margot? Okay. Now, if you had to choose now, as of today, who's left today? Oh, I'm good. I'm going to say that before. Of the people you've seen so far, live and on webinar, who do you, no bullshit, don't lie into yourself. Do you relate to any, no, don't raise your hand, John Mario. Do you relate to any of them in any way, shape, manner, or form? I'm going to go through each one that I remember, and I know you'll help me remember. Okay. Because all of them are successful. Some $300 or $400 million successful. Some only $5 or $10 million successful. Between, that's about the $5 or $10 million successful, and $5 or $600 million successful. You've seen, okay. So I'm going to start with Margot, who relates to her not poor English, I don't mean that, but that you think that you might kind of do deals like she's explaining. Margot. Okay? Oh, okay, too. Okay. Anelli. The black guy, the conglomerator. Okay. Simon, 440 pounds of love. The elephant hunter. Okay. The Belgian waffle, who throw up on his shoes and pants. Okay. We got more Belgian waffles. Okay. I'm leaving out several. Who am I leaving out? Simon the Nazi. How many? Oh, Simon. They don't love you, Simon. Oh, I haven't gotten one. Roberto. And who else? The pig fucker. Have I left anybody out? Whom? Andreas. Oh, God, how can I forget? Andreas, the German machine. He's the Blitzkrieg Nazi. The Goomba brothers. The kneecap specialist. And that's it, right? Oh, fuck. Thomas. Thomas, the zealot. Viking bitch. Okay, now that's a pretty wide spectrum of personalities, all successful. And some of the junior ones are going to be more successful because we're at the beginning of their careers. And you're going to hear some others. I wanted to do it before Marcus because you're going to raise your hand about Marcus, and I'm not going to agree with you. Marcus is the guy that's got the closest personality to me. That's been around. He attended the first mentor seminar I gave, which was in the summer of 2010. And he's done terrific. I mean, okay, of all those people that we mentioned, I would greatly disagree with some of your choices. You think that you can relate to them. But it doesn't mean you can't in the future relate to them. Because sales and positioning yourself and reshaping the situation to your favor is an art that you learn. that you learn over time. And unfortunately, you got to make mistakes in the beginning. You got to have speed bumps, and you can step on your own dick. But all those things can be learned. The younger kids that have the softer personalities, Belgian Waffle isn't what he was 2 years ago. I mean, he's better. All these kids are getting better at it, and they're refining their craft. It's like, you know, when you play golf, I've only met a couple people that played golf and broke 100 the first time they ever played. Okay? And you see them the first time and you say, my God, that guy or that girl, never going to be able to do anything. And then, you know, they get to be really fine golfers. The same thing in almost any sport. When I started playing golf, I've been playing golf, well, not recently, but I've been playing golf since I'm 13. I got to be a really fucking good golfer. And I started playing tennis when I was 14. I wasn't as good a tennis player as I was a golfer. But I refined mainly because I'm uncoordinated, you know, naturally uncoordinated. But you can become those things. You can. And when Andrea said, he taped himself. When we talk about presentation skills tomorrow, tape yourself. First, listening just the voice. And then tape yourself, because now everybody's got an iPhone, you can make a presentation for yourself. You will be horrified how poor your skills are. I mean, it will be shocking, you know, how poor your skills are. And that's why I tell you to go to improv, and I tell you to go to Toastmasters, because you can develop these. I flunked public speaking in high school. I flunked public speaking the first time I took it in college, and I got a D the second time. And when I was giving speeches for the Wall Street firm I made 200 speeches in a year, and I got good at about 120 or 130. They threw plates at me at lunch. They threw rolls at me. At the end, before I turned the corner, they threw knives and forks at me. Literally. And I just kicked back. So you can improve your skills. Well, if you don't improve your skills, guys and two gals, you're going to die on the vine. Okay? Okay. Any questions, first of all, about any of the guys and gals we just talked about? Okay. Nothing about Margot. We've gone through the chairman, through the acquisition a couple of times. You have templates on all this. We're going to listen to Marcus now, who is one of the most successful I've trained in 28 years, and his presentation skills are poor. His public speaking skills are poor. His presence is poor. So you listen and you figure it out. Okay, EJ? Okay, thank you, Kat.